Hi, welcome back to Selling Intelligence. I'm Mark Petruzzi, your co-host, and this is part 2 of our conversation. And guess what? We're going to pick up exactly where we left off, and we're going to get into what really drives results.
And I'm KK Anderson. Selling Intelligence is brought to you by Accelerant Growth Solutions, AGS. Join us each week as we break down the strategies, decisions, and execution moves that are driving growth in today's market.
Welcome back to Selling Intelligence. I'm Mark Petruzzi.
And I'm KK Anderson. This is part 2 with Lance Haffner, Chief Revenue Officer at Papaya Global. Be sure to go back and listen to part 1. But if you want to start here, let us bring you quickly up to speed. Lance told us how he has moved from staffing sales into HR and then into revenue leadership by applying a business enablement mindset wherever he sat, and what it's taken to build Papaya's first ever CRO function while the company shifts from years of product investment into a scale-up phase.
In part 2, we get into how Lance is building demand for a problem most buyers don't know they have yet, the trust deficit. Lance is watching this show up directly into his AI-enabled sales motion, and we'll go into and we'll analyze how he uses AI day in and day out to diagnose what's actually happening inside his sales team. Lance, welcome back.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, KK. Happy to be here again.
Great. So let's jump into creating demand for a problem buyers do not know they have. You've compared the awareness problem you're facing to introducing a genuinely new category. How do you build go-to-market motion around the pain point most buyers don't even know they have yet?
This is such a great question. And it's been salient a few times in my career. If you look back over the years and you look back at we as consumers, things that have been launched in the consumer market, I remember this thing in 2006, 7, Apple releases the iPhone. We didn't even know we needed a handheld computer device that didn't have keys. In fact, it was absurd to think about it. I was a BlackBerry fan, to be honest, and I wanted my keys, and I resisted for 2 years.
Was it clipped on your belt, Lance? Did you have it clipped on your belt?
I may have had a clip, yes.
I'm not going to admit to that, Lance.
Yeah. I mean,
yes,
look, we can go back to the days you had the pager clipped, right? Not less, or onto the Motorola Razr, onto the BlackBerry telephone. But I know it's that's really a consumer application review, but the point still stands. We didn't know that we needed that. It's like we actually, in fact, some people took the antithetical side of I hate keys, I don't want them. Not only do I not need it, it's not a pain, I don't want it. And so I think lots of CROs and businesses deal with this. You're entering market with a new product. I want to be clear, sometimes it's not a new product. In a prior job, it wasn't a new product, but it was new application of that solution in market. But it's the same, right? Whether it's new or not, it's the same. You're dealing with the problem of market awareness and creating that demand. So first and foremost, I think coming back up to our prior conversation when I talked about moving into scale, make sure market fit exists. Even if people aren't aware they have pain, make sure you got a market fit. You're dealing with the insights your RevOps leader is creating, your MarkOps leader who's like according to RevOps, the insights your product team has, particularly your product marketing team who's done the research, competitive analysis. They're reading the analysts and seeing what the analysts are saying about you in market, about other solutions. Do you got the market fit? Let's agree that you do. You've done the analysis. There's not just a TAM, but ultimately you have some serviceable, addressable market that you can actually sell that product into, all right? That's point number 1. Don't go off the gut thesis. I try to do it all the time. I got to be honest. I'm preaching to myself here. We get a thesis, we have bias on that thesis, and then we go look for everything to confirm the bias. No, go look at the data and confirm that you actually have market fit and you actually have a market that you can sell, that you can service, and that you can obtain, and you can be successful. Number 1. Number 2, if anyone can figure out how to make it really successful, a product or a pain that people don't know they need, or have a pain they don't know how to have, they're going to be wealthy. Oh, by the way, people have done that, and they were very wealthy. So, but I don't think it's not easy. One of my leaders, another colleague, I have the fish can't climb the tree colleague who's brilliant, sells mine, and another one says, Lance, I call this normalized pain. Having a conversation with the buyer, I'm going through my methodology process, I'm listening for the signals, and they just don't know they have pain. And I go back to the Apple versus BlackBerry method. None of us knew we had pain. In fact, we had maybe an antithetical view of it. Not only do I not have pain, it sounds painful to go to a screen without prescribed buttons that can be precise. So there's this normalized pain that exists. I think the key to getting through that is two things. One, you've got the right buyer persona. Sometimes, go back to my example of where you have a product in market. It's not a new product in market, but maybe it's a new application, a new go-to-market motion. We're thinking of it differently and how the buyer can apply that. Who is the buyer though? Because the buyer might have shifted. Formerly, you might have been working with the HR department. Now you're in finance, and you're particularly a layer down in finance, maybe with treasury. Do you have the right buyer persona? Because if you don't, you have zero chance of helping them see the pain that they have. Okay, number one. So be dogged about landing on the right buyer persona and let that feedback loop happen. Listen to the sales calls, receive the sales feedback. Why am I not converting? Why am I disqualifying? Listen, watch, and be hyper quick on pivoting. Go back to the bow tie we talked about, right? You're all on top of funnel here, going through your sales stages. Your RevOps leader is acutely watching this and giving you real-time feedback, and you're shifting. Could be your campaign in market right now and the pitch in the campaign. Could be a lot of things, right? But you're watching. And then lastly, I would say the process itself, and I already mentioned it, but the sales process you're going through has to be spot on, because the process is there to help them identify the pain. Now, for 80% of what we sell, they know the pain, so it's easy. We know the pain before we go in generally, but we get that out of them through our sales process, whatever methodology you're using. I've used SPICE by our friends at Winning by Design, so roll out that in my last job, but Medic Challenger, whatever you're using, right? Go through that pain process. And there, right, is, in my opinion, kind of the inflection point of them understanding that they actually do have the pain. And that's the hardest piece to get through. So let me headline that just quickly, because I said a lot of words. Do you have right market fit? Using the insights from your analysis through RevOps, marketing ops, through product marketing. Don't have bias confirmation. Many of us want to believe, oh, this is great. Let's go sell this. Let's apply this way. Prove that out. Don't have bias confirmation. Come down here. Think about your sales process. Think through buyer persona. Are you now with the right buyer within the organization? And do you have the right pitch through pain or through your methodology, Are you getting them through the pain process and helping them identify it? And you have feedback loops that are telling you very quickly, real time, is it working or is it not? And you're pivoting. And by the way, I'm going to say this last thing. This is going to be hard for me to say. Give up when you're done. When the data tells you this isn't working, stop investing resources, because you're burning money, you're burning funds, you're burning resources and opportunity of other things you could be selling. And I think that's a really important note here, is then it's time to probably say, we tried this, it didn't work, let's close the book on it. And that's really hard for a guy like me to say.
Right. We have this, I've been teaching this philosophy for over a decade now, and I call it the 2-sale mentality. And that is that every sale, I don't care if you're selling Girl Scout cookies or you're selling multi-million-dollar software, it's 2 sales. The first sale is getting your customer to articulate why they need to change. And the second sale is why you and why now. And so it occurs to me as I listen to you speak, Lance, that that's exactly what you're doing when you're selling to someone who doesn't know they have a problem yet. Their eyes haven't been opened. You have to really nail that first sale and pull the pain. And once you get that, then you can go into why Papaya and why now.
Why Papaya and why now? I love it. Yeah, I love it. Okay.
So yeah. And do you feel like your sales team is good at doing that? So as far as like selling value to something that they don't know that they need, like I think you nailed it when you talked about the sales process, but it really is everything. Doing it in the right order.
Everything. Yeah, it is everything. And yes, I think so. I think, look, I'm biased. I think I've got some extraordinary sellers, and I think they really do care. Like let's maybe go to we've been talking in kind of a technical manner, but let's go to our people. Yeah, I think they care, and I think they do understand. Certainly they're motivated, they're sellers, but I think the best sellers do care about the value they can bring their customer. And I think that shows up in the processes they employ and the methods they use to work through the sales process. So it's not just about identifying the pain, it's about, I have conviction that I can help you, and this solution can save you time, it can save you money, whatever the value prop is. And so, yeah, I think my sellers are doing, I think they're fantastic, and I think they see the vision, and frankly, some of them are leading us, right? I've got some great sellers leading us, giving us market insights that we then, back through our process, very quickly take that in, the feedback loop, and iterate what we need to iterate to help them be successful.
It's all about the loop.
Beautiful.
It's all about the loop.
So Lance, what tells you that the messaging is actually starting to land in the market? What tools and what approaches do you look at to really understand that?
Yeah, don't overthink this. I think I'm an Occam's razor fan, another colleague who brought that to me. Usually the simplest answer is the right answer. Mark, going back to what we started the call with, or as we talked about the CRO function, those insights will show up pretty quickly. Now, they may not be, they're going to tell you a variety of things that may not be overly structural in nature, but if you have your system set up from top of funnel through close loss, through to activation, through retention, go there. Remember the bow tie, and to KK's point, we may have a really good sales process and pitch. We don't have market fit just yet, but man, the pitch sells it and we get it in, we install, but yet we churn 6 months later. That's no good. Those insights are telling you, they're giving you real-time feedback. So your question is, how do I know the message is working? Start at top of funnel. I can see the outbound scripts are working and that we are qualifying leads. They are becoming opportunities. I can see the same in lead gen and marketing, but I can see in the SDR outbound motions. I'm producing top of funnel pipeline, number one. Number two, I'm converting that pipeline. It's happening. And this is all, again, Mark, real time set up through your systems and processes and your sales stack and your insights coming from your revenue ops leader. I do want to say this. It has to be bifurcated a bit. Bifurcated is maybe the wrong. It has to be highlighted. You kind of have to have a bit of a tiger element about this, that you're watching it discreetly, explicitly. If you're not, then it can kind of get in the overall noise of the funnel and your insights and your data and the pipeline management. So make sure you've got it set out separately. But if you got the right structure in place, you are going the simple key. You're going to get those insights immediately, and then you can pivot. And ultimately, I love KK taking us through the other side of the funnel. If I'm beginning to churn, okay, man, it's working up here, great, but I'm an ARR business and my churn is not good. And so we may have to go back to the drawing board and rethink market fit, product
ICP,
design, ICP, all of it. Yeah.
Okay, let's move into talking about the trust deficit, that we are all in right now with our AI-enabled sales motion. And we talked about this when we met in our prep call, and how we're in a world where buyers aren't always sure that they're even dealing with a real person anymore, right? That a human actually wrote their email, that it's even a real person on the phone that's calling them. And so how does that show up in your world, and what do you do about it?
Yeah, you all had a podcast on this a month or two ago that was really good that I listened to and kind of informed and influenced some of my thinking. Yeah, I made a call the other day. I won't give you the company I called, but I'm a customer. And it was a small company, by the way, local to me. So service provider for my home. We'll just say mechanical stuff in your home. And I needed to get the tech back out, and I call and I hear this voice. It's like, hey, Lance, thanks for calling. And I said, yes, thanks. Yep, Lance Haffner calling from da-da-da-da-da and about da-da-da. And then there was like the 4-second pause. Great, thanks for calling in about that today. I'm like, I was so excited. I got a call almost immediately. It sounded real. And then I'm like, you're not real. You're not real. So it's showing up everywhere in our lives. And then apply it in our business. You had said on this last podcast, we've had automations out for a while, marketing automations that see the signals and they respond. And so this isn't new, but it is exponentially. My opinion is this. I think we should be using the technology. It makes us more efficient. And if we can get it right, it will improve the customer's life. It will. It absolutely will. I believe that. Had that system in my example, we calling the tech back out, been as responsive and conversational as a human being and ultimately got me through the process efficiently, I wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't have, as long as the outcome was what it needed to be. So that's my opinion. The outcomes need to get to where they are. I think we've got to be smart about how we apply AI and the automations within our business. Again, automations have been around a long time, all through the funnel. Even in the sales process, we set up sequences that are automated, that are managed by our CRMs and our outreach systems for our sellers that are not a seller necessarily, right? And so they've existed for a long time. They've just become very dynamic and agentic because the agents can work. So I think we've got to perfect the processes. I don't think we resist. I think we bring them in, we perfect the processes. This is an interesting thing. I don't think you necessarily deny the fact that you're using AI. I think it's okay. I think people can be okay with it.
Well, Lance, I even go a step further with some of this. When I make those calls like you do, and I hear an AI person on the phone, I'm actually happy sometimes because I know that I'm just going to get through this faster. If it's a good AI, right, it's got to be done right. But I'm looking at this and saying, wow, I'm not going to get put on hold for I'll be back to you in 3 minutes. I'll be back to you in 3 minutes. That's what humans tend to do with us. And I don't know if they're just taking a break in between or if their computer systems are so slow. But AI is so fast that they come back and they say, okay, give me 10 seconds and I'll have an answer for you. And I like that. So you've said that nowadays the sales motion shouldn't be AI, just AI, and certainly shouldn't just be human led as well. It's got to be both.
It's got to be both.
Yep, yeah. And it's got to be. So where do you draw the line on what it has to stay human within your sales motion?
Yeah. Well, look, I want to relate this to Papaya and Papaya Global and our really how our North Star and our vision. Our vision is you'll never work alone, and we embrace artificial intelligence and our ability to build it into our product and solution and enable our people and our customers to be successful. So whether it enables our people to serve our customer or it enables our customer to serve themselves, the nexus of human and artificial intelligence technology is where Papaya sits, particularly in workforce. Just take that philosophy and apply it to your revenue organization. And that internal facing, this isn't really a customer or a deficit of trust as it relates to AI, but maybe I'm moving internal to say, look, we can become so efficient in pipeline analysis and forecasting with the intelligence going out and looking at our pipeline. In a former job, I dropped all my calls into CRM out there that everyone loves. I won't name, but and I got insights within about 5 minutes. Thousands of calls across 12 months, and I had immediate insights about my sales process, my pitches, what's happening, why am I close losing, where are we going right in close one, predictive forecasting. There's so many tools, AI tools we have today at our fingertips. We have never been more efficient or productive as CROs. Pivot back to the customer. Mark, yes, let's embrace it. Let's not deny the fact that we're using it. We're using it, buyer, to make your journey frictionless, better, more expeditious. Speed and simplicity are what are the two most fundamental, basic, foundational things needed for sales success, in my opinion. We forget about them all the time. We can use AI to remove friction from the process, to expedite the process, and to make it simple. And our customers, our buyers will embrace that. It's just we're in that clunky phase right now. We're trying to normalize what it looks like and how it feels. And there's the whole scary element of AI too, right, out there that I think people. Yep.
Cool stuff. All right. Well, this has been really great, Lance. We like to close up with a really quick rapid fire section.
Let's do it.
KK's favorite part of this whole podcast. So first question for you, what was the first product or service you ever sold?
Yeah, I did tell you all and when we talked the first time and you mentioned it on our last podcast, I did sell staffing solutions, Headhunter. That was really my first job. But before that, for about 6 months, I did get my real estate license and I attempted to sell real estate. I sold one house in 6 months and I remember, I'll never forget, my first and last buyer said, "Hey, how old are you?" I'm like, "I'm 19. Have you ever bought a house?" I'm like, "Nope." And that was the last whole house I ever sold. So.
Lance, that is such a story. And I have the same mirror of a story for you. I did it. I bet you I was 18, probably a freshman in college, 18 or 19. I did it for about 6 months. I actually sold one as well. So it was nice to get that commission. But then I looked at it and said, yeah, I think I need to get a little older before I come back to this, and never did.
I'm out. Exactly. We're kindred spirits, Mark.
Yeah. That's funny. Beautiful. Okay, Lance, who is your favorite CRO or CEO that you like to follow?
Yeah, my favorite right now is Scott Kirby, CEO of United Airlines. Great turnaround story at United. I happen to be a United customer. I fly a lot, so I've got the Premier 1K status. But set my status aside, of course, my experience with United is always going to be great. Should be. And by the way, every customer's experience should be good, irrespective of the premium statuses. But I'll say this. He came in, he acknowledged that United's service network products suffered and hadn't been going the way that the board, nor he, nor the customers want. And he has changed United's trajectory. I have great He's just kind of a real guy too. Own it, be open about it, and that's what I like about Scott.
All right, shout out to Scott Kirby.
So, okay, leadership or go-to-market practice every sales and marketing leader should adopt.
Don't forget the basics. In the end, this is about some of the fundamental things: pipeline management, rigor, and discipline in your process. We CROs especially get caught up in I don't want to say the clouds, but the strategy and ensuring and keeping our vision grand and large and overlooking the entire org, as we should. I also still have a weekly pipeline review every week. So the basics to any leader, not just revenue leaders.
My favorite question, Lance, and I was going to say advice you would give your 21-year-old self, but maybe I should say 19-year-old self selling real estate.
Oh my gosh, so many things. Relax, everything will be okay. I was high strung, and I looked it up. Even when I had my own business, like if I lost a deal, I was so devastated, and I just sit back and say, relax, it's okay. I mean, you're going to be okay. That's what this gray gives you, is that comfort to know it's going to be okay because you have been through those things. That'd be my advice.
Beautiful. Lance, so thank you so much for the clarity you bring to all of this, particularly at the vantage point of the unconventional path into the CRO seat, what it takes to build a revenue function from nothing and what AI actually looks like in the hands of an operator using it well every day. Where should people go to find your work?
Yeah, so look, find us at papayaglobal.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. I think my handles are Lance Haffner, or just search Lance Haffner and Papaya Global. You'll find me on the Papaya Global website. You'll find me on LinkedIn. Reach out. I'd love to connect with other thought leaders. I'd love to debate someone who believes differently. I love that for sure. I'm an Aries, so I'm a bit of a fiery debater, but I have loved my time and enjoyed my time with you all. I'll put a plug in for the podcast. I think it's the thought leaders you bring on, the ideas you think about. I think what I love most, it's very diverse. You have leaders and thoughts from all across the spectrum on how they think about this. And there's nothing richer than to hear different views and perspectives that I can build into my own practice. So thank you for having me on and for producing this podcast.
Well, thank you, Lance. That is encouraging to hear. And that's our goal. So hearing it straight from you, our ideal audience is who you are. And that means a lot. And we'll put all of that in the show notes as far as your LinkedIn profile and how they can reach you. And to our audience, if what Lance said about building a revenue function from the ground up is sitting with you, that is the work we do and particularly inside the 2mm Club, which is a small group coaching residency for frontline sales leaders, where they learn to identify and coach the small shifts in seller behavior that add up to exponential movement in pipeline. We have 8-week cohorts designed to help sales leaders find more business and win more business. Cohorts launch monthly, and you can apply on our website at get-.
Great. And if this conversation was useful, please send it to a leader on your team who needs it most, or a friend, a former colleague as well. I am Mark Petruzzi.
And I'm KK Anderson, and this is Selling Intelligence. And we will see you next time. We hope you enjoyed this conversation and found it valuable. If you did, like and share it with your network. That's the best way to support us and the work we're doing here at AGS. And if you're curious where your sales team stacks up in the AI era, head to get-ags.com. That's get and the dash symbol ags.com for a complimentary sales team benchmark. Until next time,